What's up, everyone? I go by the name DAP. I'm half of the contract, and you're watching B-Side.
What's up? I'm Kyla Johnson from B-Side Magazine. Today we're sitting down to talk to producer and rapper DAP, aka DAP. So, you recently won the Converse Rubber Tracks contest. Allowed you to fly out to Abbey Road Studios in London and work on a collaboration with Mark Ronson and Ken Scott. What was it like to be in such a historically significant studio with such significant producers?
It was amazing. It's still kind of like a dream. It's kind of like it didn't happen still. Mark was awesome. He just made me feel really comfortable. And I was a bit nervous going into it because I don't usually work in studios, like especially that big.
Yeah.
I usually just work me and my keyboard and my laptop and I'm good to go. But yeah, he just made me feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
It wasn't intimidating. It was just natural. It felt really natural. It felt like being at home.
Sounds like you're collaborating more recently, whereas your past work has been mostly independent, as you were saying. Do you see yourself collaborating more in the future, or on future projects do you think you're going to remain how you have been working in the past?
Yeah, I think what I found is I don't want to really collaborate as much with rappers. Not anything against rappers, but I want to be responsible for the lyrical content on my stuff. But what I do want is a lot more instrumentalists. So sax players, guitarists, violinists, bass players, drummers, and mainly people to help me do vocals, like harmonies and stuff and backing vocals. But I think I definitely want to keep the system I had. I think on Goodbye Forever there's 3 features, I think. None of them are rap. They're all vocalists. So I kind of want to keep the same system.
So a lot has happened for you in the past year. You dropped you dropped Goodbye Forever about a year ago, and since then, the Source magazine named that EP the best of 2014. You were featured in Complex. You got to work with Mark Ronson and Ken Scott. How are you processing all of this attention and hype that you've been getting?
I wish someone could just list all these things to me every day.
I'll just follow you around.
It's good motivation. It's so good. Yeah, processing it is hard because it's happening kind of quickly. Up until October 2014, everything was kind of steady. And things were happening, but they were just kind of steady. But as soon as I dropped that tape, everything just started coming out of nowhere, especially since January this year in particular.
Looking ahead for the coming year, is it still very ambiguous, or do you have any goals or plans?
My only goal is to do twice as much as I did this year, because I have less school to worry about. I'm trying to clear my spring, so I have as much time to make music and perform. And I could end up in law school, I could end up in Nigeria, I could end up in London. I don't know exactly where I'm going to be. My idea would be to get a job and take a year off before I go to law school and work on music and have a job on the side, but who knows? All I know is that I have to make as much music as possible. That's all I've been doing these last couple of weeks.
So how has you study classics and music at Brown.
Yeah.
How has that affected your music production or your lyrics?
In terms of like the content, what I appreciate most about classics, studying Latin and Greek, is the poetry. And that definitely translates directly into rap. So I remember in high school, like there's rhythms to all these poems. It's called scansion, and I would scan everything while the teacher's talking, and he wouldn't have asked us to scan it. I would just scan everything that I read because it was so much fun. I just like the rhythms, and there's so much detail that goes into their poetry, and that makes my lyricism better. As I take like where this word is in the sentence or in the bar with the music, what word you choose. Your first 2 lines always very important. Your last 2 lines, it just makes you pay attention to detail.
Yeah, I write, and I totally get what you were saying about being here and being almost overstimulated.
Yeah.
Because not only are you like pressing your time and you're trying to fit everything in, but you're constantly hearing all of these different ideas in class, and it's almost like being here gives you constant content to work with.
Yeah, and I always tell people that like don't dropping out of college or school to do music. That's the backwards way to do it. I have like an immediate audience. I have like 1,000 kids in my class that listen to my music just because they go to the same school as me. I have people who can give me good feedback, getting more intelligent. It just makes you work harder when you're working hard. You know, that's how I feel.
You've lived in Nigeria, London, and the U.S. How do you think this international experience has affected your music at all?
Just perspective. Because I've almost been 3 different people in those places, relative contextually, but I'm the same, obviously, but just the culture switches I go through, like going to London, I always have to like, okay, I can't sag my pants everywhere. I can't wear snapbacks. Like, what do people wear out here? And you have to sort of, it takes like a couple of days to readjust fully. Then I go to Nigeria, it's a whole different thing again. But also seeing like how similar they are, at the same time as they're radically different. Everyone is going through the same things, you know?
Yeah.
They definitely, and I talk about that all the time. Like, it helps me like relate things better. So I can say something about Nigeria but make people here understand it because I know the parallel here, kind of thing.
So it seems like in your latest EP, Goodbye for Never, your beats and style is moving more back to African roots. Is that correct, and how did that process take place?
So that sort of started happening naturally over the summer for whatever reason. I was working on this EP called Jam on Scones, a joint EP with me and my friend Shane Chubbs, and there's a song we made called Joga, which this is the World Cup time in Brazil, so everything was very festive everywhere. And that we're trying to make like a FIFA song, like a song that we would turn on FIFA and play, and that's the song. We tried to imagine what that song would be, and that's what Joga ended up being. And it sort of started there. I've always loved Nigerian music, but I've never listened to it on my own or outside of Nigeria until this Christmas, which is after Goodbye for Never, funny enough. But I think that was just me trying to stick to my roots, and I just make sure that influence, I try to represent all sides of myself. So the UK side is in there, and King. But even on King, the drums are kind of African at the beginning. I try to have pieces of that everywhere. But after Christmas, all I was listening to was Nigerian music, especially Wizkid's album, Davido's album, Flavor's album. These all Nigerian artists, and from there, everything just started getting more and more and more Nigerian, more directly Nigerian. And I think this EP I'm putting out in January or February will definitely have a lot more of that influence.
So you said before that you were a producer first, but always first. But you obviously have a lot of talent in rapping. How did you connect those two things? When did that happen?
So I started producing when I was 14 and rapping when I was 18. I started rapping because people just weren't working as quickly as I wanted them to. Like, I would make beats and send them to people and wait, and then people would send me a message like, oh, that beat, send me his flames, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. He'll send me another beat, send me more beats, and I just got tired of waiting for people. And so I started rap, but because I had been playing the piano for 14 years already at that point, I knew how long it took to get really good at something. I knew how much work it would take too, so I was prepared to do it. So I was happy to write the worst bars ever, age 17, and I knew they were bad, and I was like, this is fine, because I know what this translates to, you know, how much work this is going to take. And so I just kept writing. I put my first tape on Conscious when I was 18, and then I put out a tape every year, I think, since then, apart from this year. Yeah, it was an easy transition, though, because I've been studying classics as well for 5 years already, so I was working a lot with poetry, even if it wasn't English, and I always liked, you know, poems in English class. And just wordplay, just the way, because words are powerful and people don't realize how powerful they can be. Yeah, and then the rhythms were simple because that's the musical side of it, your flow. So that came pretty naturally, and then I just, kept going, paid a lot of attention, did my research, listened to the greats, and just told myself, I
really want to hear those bars that you wrote when you were 14. I would pay good money.
Oh, man. Someone actually quoted one of them to me yesterday, and I was just like, I can't.
Do you know it?
I can't do this. I can't remember any of them.
What are you listening to right now?
Oh, right. Documentary 2. I think the Documentary 2 might be the album of the year.
Oh, really?
Personally, or top 3 at least, along with, I say, Drake's first album and Kendrick's album. But Travis Scott's, man, crazy.
Crazy.
But I've been listening to Documentary 2 and 2.5 is like a double album, and I think that might be. I think if it was handed in time, it should have been nominated for a Grammy. That's how good it is. Just the lyrics and the music is just, the whole thing is ridiculous. But that's been on repeat for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Travis Scott's Rodeo. I really appreciate producer rappers. It's something you can't really connect fully when you don't make the music. If you just, someone gives you a beat and you rap on it. Like Travis Scott, J. Cole, Childish Gambino, Tyler. Like, you can hear when the lyrics and the flow is just a part of the beat, it's part of the music. That's what a great rapper does, but as a producer, you do it naturally. So I appreciate a lot of that. Like, Travis Scott's album, I think, was one of the best albums this year for sure. Yeah, Documentary 2.
check it out.
Check it out. Album of the year.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
sitting
for
down
having
with
me.
us.
This is awesome. Thank
It was
you.
very awesome.
B-Side Magazine. Look out for new music. Check my SoundCloud out, soundcloud.com/DAP The Contract. Look out for a release, an anniversary party. Goodbye for Never coming soon. B-Side Magazine. B-Side Magazine.